Have a copy ability you'd like to see on the next Copy Ability Spotlight? Stay tuned until the end of the video to find out how you can help decide the next one. Alright, we are 4 Copy Ability Spotlights in, and so far we've taken a look at some very interesting abilities. There was a lot to say on all of them, and I can't wait to see what was voted for this time. Sleep, huh? Okay, don't get me wrong, I get it. Want to have a little fun? Well, I can have fun too, you know. Today, we have a long-awaited Copy Ability Spotlight. The first copy ability that comes to mind when many think of iconic Kirby copy abilities. Sleep! This fan favorite has many appearances throughout the series, so much so that it actually hits the double digits. To put that into context, it's in more games than the previous 2 abilities, Spear and High Jump, combined. Sleep is an ability that any Kirby player that knows what they're doing will tell you is uncontested as one of the most important abilities for optimized play. The history of Sleep is a wild tale to be told, so get yourself comfortable, preferably with a pillow to fit the theme, and listen up. This is the Copy Ability Spotlight for Sleep. Sleep, as many copy abilities have, debuted in Kirby's Adventure. Kirby's Adventure is, all things considered, solidly built with few major game-breaking glitches. One such glitch, however, is the Stone Underwater glitch. I'll go into more detail on that when we eventually get to Stone, but clipping through a slope to get underwater and using Stone underwater allowed you to skip to the end credits very early. This would have set the KA speedrunning community on fire, if not for one of the most well-known speedrunning glitches in all of gaming. At the very beginning of the game, there are 2 waddle-doo that you can inhale to get mixed. In a no major glitches run, this is used to get Tornado, but in a no-hold-barred speedrun, it's used for Sleep. Why? All because of this crazy little bug. If you get Sleep from Mix, the game doesn't recognize it as a normal sleep, which messes with how the game runs. If you pause and exit a stage with frame-perfect timing, right here to be precise, it took me hours to get this right, the game doesn't know which room to take Kirby into, and picks the end credits. Thus, 2 categories exist for speedrunning major glitches percent: Sleep and Sleepless. And for the record, this still works in Nightmare and Dreamland. It's one of, if not the, only glitch present in both games. The logic of why it was never removed is a pretty hot topic in the Kirby speedrunning community. Some say it's an Easter egg, while others say the devs were too afraid to remove it, lest they suffer the wrath of Sleep's overwhelming power. In my own personal opinion, the reason it wasn't removed was Kirby Superstar and its remake, Superstar Ultra, are widely regarded as 2 of the best games in the franchise. And the reason for that should be pretty obvious. Every game in between Adventure and Superstar removed Sleep through fear of programming. Ooh. But with Sakurai back in the developer's seat, he took the nigh impossible, might I add, challenge of balancing Sleep for the new game. But how do you balance Sleep, you might ask? As I said, nerfing Sleep is impossible. I won't go over Sleep too much in most of the game modes, as it's actually banned from all of Kirby Superstar and even Ultra speedruns. The footage in the back is just one of the skips that exists. Every individual game mode has a Sleep-exclusive skip that nullifies any other kind of speedrunning strategy. And in the case of Ultra, there's no helper, so you can't helper to hero with it through normal means. I've heard you can hack it, but we're about legitimacy on the Copy Ability Spotlights. All in all, the Superstar speedrunning specialists stopped Sleep from centralizing. The only way to prevent Sleep from being dominant, of course. Needless to say, all of the cowardly game devs to come were too afraid to put Sleep in any game for a while, so it wasn't until Sakurai, once again, returned that we saw Sleep, again, in Kirby Air Ride. And I don't think there's much I need to say on this one. Kirby Air Ride stars accelerate themselves. Sleep is the only way to prevent Kirby from moving left or right without letting go of the control stick. I mean, come on. Why would you ever let go of the control stick? Doing that, that's lame. That's lame. I hate to stop talking about Air Ride early, but the next game in the series, Amazing Mirror, not directed by Sakurai, shocked the world when it included Sleep in its lineup of abilities. Finally, someone who wasn't Sakurai could take their hand at trying to balance this menace of an ability. And, well, it should come as no surprise now that Sleep became dominant, but this absolutely has to be the best that Sleep has ever been thus far. Yeah, I don't know how this slipped, but sleep grants Kirby infinite HP at all times. The footage here speaks for itself, folks. For speedrunning, this is viable for brute forcing through certain sections that would require a workaround otherwise, or wheel, but that's what the other Kirbys are for. And for boss fights, well, you're the only Kirby that matters. Let the other Kirbys wail on the boss while you keep your infinite HP. Of course, this is helpful during the boss rush mode as well, making it the first time I've talked about sleep for boss fights. In this game, it really is just that good. But there is one thing that could make it better. If you're not at full HP when you get sleep, you don't ever get max health. Sure, you'll never lose any of your health, so it doesn't really matter, but come on, this is sleep we're talking about here. We don't have time for any kind of flaw. Clearly, this must have been what the dev team was thinking going into Squeak Squad, because in that game, sleep heals you if you're not at max HP. This doesn't have much of an impact for speedrunning, I'll fully be the one to admit that, but it's the same dominant force here as it was in Amazing Mirror, so overall, it doesn't really matter. And then, nobody could predict what would happen next. Shinya Kumazaki took the director's seat from this point forward with the release of Return to Dreamland, meaning we have the third person attempting to balance this monster of an ability. Unlike the attempts before him, however, his method was interesting. For the main campaign, sleep has either been broken due to programming limitations or just an overall pure terror by design. Return to Dreamland took so long to come out, and everyone waited with bated breath to see how sleep would function, and Kumazaki and co., insane as they all were, actually did it. Sleep has virtually no use. It did nothing in the main campaign. See, Return to Dreamland is overall pretty well programmed, but there's a bizarre bug involving the arena of all things. You can't pick sleep specifically, but if you pick hammer, there's a random chance that it'll give you sleep instead. But unlike the main game, this has its own moveset, proving the popular theory that flung around the Kirby community for a while. You seriously should have seen the message boards. They were insane. That sleep was originally, in fact, the beast it originally was. And it's out for vengeance too. Look at the damage output on this. It's crazy. Of course, since this was just a bug in Return to Dreamland, this was fixed in Triple Deluxe. Sleep was no longer available in either of the arena modes in any capacity, and in the single player, it just didn't serve any purpose. This lasted through Planet Robobot and Star Allies as well, ending the 20-year-long tirade of Sleep's dominance. Some say it's waiting for its chance to strike again, while others say it grew tired of its chokehold over the Kirby community. But even some others say that sleep is a useless joke ability, and that's okay. I said in my Kirby copy ability tier list that sleep was among my favorite abilities, and I stand by that. I love stupid jokes like this that don't really do anything, but they're mainstays for that exact reason. And Kirby falling asleep as a copy ability is silly, and I love it. But for viability, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, sleep gets 0 recognition. Nobody will ever think twice about using it, and again, that's fine. I just wanted to have some fun with sleep being the ability voted in for this episode. But you know what? There is one game I haven't covered yet where sleep had a lot of hype around it. Kirby Battle Royale had 2 DLC copy abilities added to the game, both voted in by popular demand. The first was Mirror, an ability that everyone was happy to see again, having already reappeared in Planet Robobot and not disappearing immediately after. And the second was, as I'm sure you've guessed by this point, Sleep. Now, with Sleep being a DLC ability, it's unusable for the single player, so any speedrunning viability it could have had doesn't exist. And that's a shame, because for real this time, they made Sleep a really good ability. There's a lot to this moveset, including health restoration, similar to Squeak Squad, and that was real too, whacking opponents with pillows for damage, and even stunning them. You force them to sleep. No, and I'm not kidding here. You force the sleep ability on them. It's great. And not the Battle Royale sleep, the useless sleep. It's a great offensive and supportive ability, and really holds its own in practically every game mode. And hey, the community rallied for this. It wound up winning in Japan, US, and Europe. proving Sleep as a joke ability is well loved by the community. Maybe someday Sleep will be as dominant as I jokingly made it out to be, but until then, one legitimately good appearance out of 10 is a lot better than a good amount of the copy abilities the series has to offer. Enjoyed the video and want to tell me which copy ability you'd like to see next? Leave a comment down below telling me which you'd like to see. You can leave it under the pinned comment, you can leave it in the regular comments, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you leave the comment in this video, and it'll be considered for the next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.